recently graduated from the entrepreneurship program. This is Tommy and Ross. So we're here just to kind of talk to you about the business plan specifically, and then a little bit of our time in McGuire, what we've done since graduating, and basically what you guys can expect if you decide to launch your company. What we do right now is Park Genius. It's a mobile application that lets you pay for parking meters through your cell phone, smartphone. Basically, you pull out the application, you pull up to your meter, you enter a spot number in, and you just hit pay. The meter pays for it. If you don't have coins, you don't want to break a dollar, it's convenient, you don't have to carry anything on you, and we send you a text message reminder 5 minutes before you run out of time. If you're at the gym or something like that, you're in a business meeting, you don't want to run out and look like an idiot paying for the meter, you just pull it out under the desk and add time. I'm going to turn it over to Tommy for a second to talk to you about the business plan and why it's important, and take it away.
Okay, so I don't know where you guys are with the business plan, or if you guys have even started, but for us it was a whole year process pretty much. We started, I don't know, into the program, and we're still updating it kind of, but we didn't really finish it until we were ready to launch in May. But the way we did it was we just had one of us sit down and write it, and then kind of give it to the rest of the team to look over, because that way, because the business plan is supposed to tell a story, and so you can't really have a story without one clear, coherent direction from one person. So if that person was me, I would sit down and write it, and then send it along to these guys, and they'd look it over and make changes or whatnot. So I don't know what exactly.
So quickly, post-launch, what assumptions worked, what didn't work at all? How did you, shift? So make a distinction between pre-McGuire, during McGuire and after McGuire. And talk to us about, the pain and suffering that you have gone through and you continue to go through too.
Yeah. So it's a living document. So you're writing it. Whatever you write now is probably going to be totally different, 5 months from now or whatever. And after, if you decide to launch, that's going to be, the business plan is what you're going to need to show investors or whatever. We haven't really had to worry about that yet, showing it to investors or angel group or anything. But yeah, it's just, the only thing I can say about it is it changes all the time.
Right.
So whatever you write now is going to be totally different. You think you have what the more research you do, the more validation you do, everything's just going to change on you.
It's important also because the business plan is not something you're writing for Emory or for the teachers. You're writing it for yourself, because you may think something makes sense in your head, but when you write it down and you actually look at it and have somebody else look at it who's not thinking the same way, they might have different questions or different concerns that you haven't thought of. So it's just something that we think, at the time we were looking at it, I thought it was pointless because it's really long and I thought we could be doing other things like customer validation, calling people. But now looking back on it, it was really important because we have a clear sort of plan with our ideas, and we just go back and look at it and say, what were we thinking then? Is it the same thing? Do we need to update it? And how can we make it more successful?
And when you sit down yourself and actually write it and bust it out, you're going to force yourself to ask questions about your own company, your own, whatever your ideas are. You'll force yourself to ask those questions, and you'll have to answer them in the business plan. So that's another reason why it's good to sit down and write it all at once.
Now that you're on the verge of scaling, I assure you that that business plan is going to need a revisit, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah, some shameless self-promotion right now. We are on all the meters at university, all the meters behind the rec, in front of Eller, and then some places downtown. So if you could download the application, it's free. Give us a 5-star rating, that would be awesome. Also, we are doing a promotion tonight at General Ben's. If you show the application to the bartender, you get special discounts on drinks.
So there will be a time in the near future, to answer his question, when we will need to look for funding and we'll have to revisit that business plan. To be honest, we haven't looked at it in a while, but the fact that it's there will help, and I'm sure a lot of things will have to change. Like, we graduated last May 2012, and we thought it was all perfect then, but now we probably have to almost go back and change everything now, because everything changes as you keep going along.
Right.
So back to this, shameless promotion. So I have no issues with shameless promotion because, you know, you're supposed to be salespeople, right? So they're going to do a hard sale on you guys because most likely next year some of you will be here pitching to next year's students. So we have to, you know, support our own, right? Stanford University produces these companies, all the community gets behind them and supports them. So it's your, actually I'm going to dare say, you know, it's your duty to support prior McGuire grads who have foregone jobs, you know, for the past however long. I know how much they're suffering. Now, I will say though that, so in terms of conflicts and so on, I and my business partners have invested in this group, primarily because we want them to succeed. The amount that we have invested is, you know, laughably small and embarrassingly small, just to give them a chance to go ahead and demonstrate to us what they're made of. So in principle, if you guys download the application, there will be, you know, some financial benefit to me in the long run, but that financial benefit to me is probably less than, what should I say, less than my coffee expenditures, for example, you know. So keep that in mind, but I want you to support one another. Next year, you will be here pitching to next year's class. So please do download the app. Take a look at it, play with it. I'm sure many of you use actually the parking meters in front of Eller College, right? As well as the rec center and so on.
Right.
So these guys have taken the very courageous move. They need all of our support as investors, the community, the students, etc.
Along those lines, we want to support you. So if you guys have any questions about us, having been through the whole program, we'd be more than happy to answer them. You guys have anything off the top of your head?
In choosing a concept, you know, how did you go about that? What was your thought process? You know, how did you work through? You know, obviously each team member had top three ideas. Right. You know, how did you reconcile those?
Don't quote me on this, but I think this is what we did. We sat down with our ideas, and then we each pitched each other, and we wrote down ones that we all could agree that we liked, and we eliminated ones that people didn't like or didn't get voted. And then from there, we just did viability, and we looked into what made the most sense into going after it, what was going to be profitable, and what was, you know, looked like it made sense.
I think what we did was a Google Doc of the top ideas, and then we said, you guys, our team vote on it.
Right.
I mean, some of the ideas were...
But we started with a different idea and then ended up changing. So.
Okay, and also like this idea, did you arrive? Was it like was it an individual's idea, or did the three of you kind of sit down and come up with it all together?
Found the problem, but finding the solution was different. The problem was that we had to have coins to pay every meter, and we had to go back to the meter every time. Then we sat down in a group and we said, how can we solve this problem? Do we need to change the hardware itself, or can we do a software solution that would be much cheaper and probably would be adopted in the future?
So the original idea was his, but the company formation, the whole, you know, business plan, or, you know, the business, the way we run it it's a company idea. It's evolving within all of us. So.
Okay,
Are there similar like programs or apps in bigger cities that have like more parking, like trailer parking?
Yeah, there are. We do have competition. We're not the first ones to the market. There are competition. You've seen the pay stations around campus, I'm sure. There's another app that works with those pay stations called Pay by Phone, and we're different than them because we work with just the coin-only meters. So those kiosk-style machines already take the credit card. So the option of paying through your phone versus just sliding in your credit card doesn't really make that much sense.
I guess my question was that like discourage you at all? Like, did you guys consider
No, that actually encouraged us. It made us think that this was a viable idea. If I'm not smart enough to think that I'm the first person to come up with this idea.
Well, it did at first. We like when we first came up with the idea, we thought, oh, this is a great idea. We're the only ones that have this. And then we did some digging and found out there were like 2 other companies that did similar. That was when we had a moment where we were like, oh crap, we have to change our idea. But then after sitting down and talking about it with Emory, we realized there still is a market for this. It's not like, you know, how many of you guys have heard of Park Mobile? It's not that big. You know, there's definitely room for competition, and that's what, you know, invigorated us.
All right, I don't know if you guys want to publicly share this, but do you get revenue off of commission?
No.
Commission.
Like commission from using your app, like paying for the meter? Because doesn't the school collect off of all the
And
meters?
so we don't work with the school, we work with the city of Tucson, so the single space meters that you'll be parking around
How
University.
we generate money is charging a convenience fee on top. That's what you're asking.
Oh,
So if
it's
the
on,
meters,
okay, it's on top of the meter.
right, so if the meter's $2 for 2 hours, we charge $2.35. On a credit card, most people don't even look at the 35 cents and don't even worry about it. It's worth the convenience. And then we give $2 to the city, we take our 35 cents, and the city really likes it because most people tend to pay more when they pay with a credit card than they do with just coins. So they actually increase their profit margin by just allowing another option.
So did the city pay for like whatever you had to put in the parking meters?
We didn't have to do anything to the parking meters itself, which is why we're a good option, because retrofitting the meters is very expensive. The cheapest solution to do that is $500 per meter, whereas all we do is we just go up to the meter itself and put a unique identification label. It's all software based. As soon as you hit send pay for the meter, it goes to the meter maid's handheld device and it says, meter 001, even though it says expired, is actually paid for. And then there's all back-end security systems to make sure that nothing's going to go wrong. Yes, sir.
How difficult was it to set up the software system? Big as it is?
We are not software engineers,
Yes,
so
They had someone do it for you?
we did. We kind of put out a push looking for an IT guy, and we interviewed several people and found a local guy here in Tucson who graduated from U of A in the MIS department, and he's a fourth team member.
Who we have tonight?
Did you pay him off of like a percentage of the company or?
We did a split. We paid half cash, half equity.
Okay.
We wanted to give him equity so that he had, the skin in the game.
Was that your fourth teammate throughout the entire McGuire program, or?
No.
Outside member, which is perfectly fine. Consultant or.
Yeah, it was after we had already graduated. We didn't start building the app until we were done. We actually had a web app that we used in our presentations and stuff like that, but it was kind of Mickey Mouse, to use Emery's word. Yeah.
Have you thought of what you're gonna do when there aren't any coin meters?
Yeah, that's what we love, because we don't need the meter itself. We just need to have a spot and then somewhere to put our unique identification label. Whereas all the competitors are selling a hardware solution, we're going with a software solution. We think that we'll be able to be big enough when that time comes, in a couple of years when there is no meters, and that we can dominate that space.
They are also in the process of applying for this Arizona Innovation Challenge for, what, 250,000? And hopefully we'll bring them back $250,000 richer.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Two questions. One, is this your full-time job, or do you guys have jobs on the side, and are you making this business turning a profit?
The business is not turning a profit. We are making revenue right now. This is not our only job. We support ourselves.
We have nighttime jobs.
Yeah, we have night jobs, so we work at bars and restaurants around town so that we can afford to live in the city and still follow our dreams, so to speak.
Okay, thank you, gents.
Yes.